Jordan, let's talk about your upstart. Why pro wrestling? Your functions in pro wrestling, your aspirations. Just kind of run everybody through your background with that, both as a
Uh,
fan and then get into it as a pro.
yeah, absolutely. So yeah, wrestling is, as the cool kids say, a kind of a day one thing for me. My father, very passive, normal fan. My brother, kind of little bit more into it. You know what I mean? Watching it every week and collecting some tapes. And then I took it to that next level of really being obsessed with it and falling in love with it. And even falling in love with like the independence, after seeing Ring of Honor in like 2003, 2004, and seeing that oh, there's some great wrestling all over the place. So I always wanted to get into it here. Of course, like most kids, kind of hoped I'd be world champion by now, but between some like some small injuries and even just never being in that great of shape, I've always kind of stayed back and done piece of everything else. I've done everything there is that you probably can do in wrestling. I've started off, of course, filming. I've set up rings pretty much by myself when we one or two other people, trying to get in the business. Setting up chairs. Later on, finally ring announcing. People saying, "Oh, he can talk a little bit here." In a weird way, the stand up comedy has helped because then even more so people have seen, "Oh, he actually can talk and have a personality." So that actually I think helped me even in ring announcing, which then got me to being the general manager, the commissioner. I feel like I hold the record in Florida because I've been the commissioner of like 5 different companies.
So what were those 5 companies? You got Tampa Bay Pro
You got Tampa Bay
and
Pro.
Real
I
Pro.
was before Real Pro, there was New Era Wrestling in Fort
Nowhere.
Myers.
Mm-hmm.
I was also briefly what was it, the Florida Gulf Coast, like FGCW.
Oh,
Uh,
yep.
and then like there's a moment for like I think X Wrestling, so at
Oh, in
least
Miami.
5. Yeah, yeah. I
Mm-hmm.
was helping doing stuff over there too. In their like new transition before that folded. And always loved it. I've always even loved commentary. I remember my sister coming in my room being like, "Who are you talking to?" I'm like, "Nothing. I'm doing play by play. I'm with my figures on the floor, like doing the actual play by play." Muting the television, making my mom do commentary with me. Her saying, "All right, one match," and then tricking her into doing the Royal Rumble, and she's like, "How long is this match?" So I've always loved commentaries. I'm very happy to kind of dig into that. Still doing that even here in Arizona for High Impact Wrestling. I currently work for
High
over
impact.
here.
Okay. And where in Arizona is that?
Tucson. I'm based in Tucson.
You got
So right now,
Tucson.
just kind of sticking with them. I try to branch out. Obviously, there's a lot of good stuff in Phoenix and whatnot. So and then I do hope to get back to Florida sometime too.
Is is that the promotion that Hammerstone helps out with the chief
There's I
teaching?
think in Phoenix maybe.
He's in
Yeah, not
Phoenix.
not not
Okay.
but yeah. Trying to think. Yeah, because there's a couple. There's definitely some stuff in Phoenix that I definitely want to look into.
Awesome. So as far as like being out there with their
Mhm.
scene, obviously well, I guess technically it's not a smaller state, but it's a smaller wrestling state, I would think. What was the biggest differences you would say about from Florida to out there in Arizona?
I'll be honest. I don't know if there was a tremendous shift. I mean, it's different from in a weird way. It was almost kind of like starting over again because obviously, like in Florida, I built a little bit of a resume where I can go, hey, I'm not just a stranger coming to you. Hey, I've done Tampa Bay Pro, I've done WWN, I've
Yeah.
done this, that, and the other. So that was kind of different from my perspective of like, hey, I'm this new guy. I've done other stuff you can look at, but like no one here knows me. But as far as the actual like difference between that and here, not much, man. I mean, you still see locker rooms of all sorts of types, some great people, some okay people. You know what I mean? I think, but there's that love is that love of just what we do, and whether it's on a small level or on a bigger level, I think it's still there. So I didn't really see a hell of a lot of difference.
As far as the scene right now out there, is there anybody that people should be aware of that maybe be breakout stars here on the national circuit?
Like I said, I've seen mostly just the high impact guys.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, no, there's still people that stood out to me. A few names out there. Eddie Atlas, um, Gabriel Alexander. I've really enjoyed Scott Sabbath. These are guys that I think. Again, like they're good now. Let's see how good they are in a few years. And again, kind of like Florida, let's hopefully they also branch out a little bit here. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Hopefully they
yeah,
don't get stuck just in Arizona. And also, I don't know their ambition here. Everyone's different. Some people are fine just being the, you know, local guy, but I think they definitely have potential to be bigger than that if they want to be.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, there's a lot of hidden gems in a lot of the different cities, and I didn't understand that until I started going on the road touring with
Mm.
MLW, and you
You
really
probably
get
see a
to.
lot, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, right now we're a little bit more based in Philly and New York, that northeast area. But when we were, and we're getting back to it eventually here, but um, we will be, like going out to Dallas, for example, completely different scene. Chicago, completely different scene. Even though you would think it's not that far away from New York or Philly, but it is a big difference in scene. The Northeast scene is, and then all those are completely different than Atlanta or completely different than Florida or Charlotte. There's a lot of now there might be some crossover, like your Philly, yeah, your Philly, Baltimore, New York guys sort of kind of blend with Boston, like all the way that northeast corridor there. But the for the most part, you have different wrestlers, different places, and different styles. Um, and I think that's a good thing. I think it allows the national TV companies or the international companies to be able to just cherry pick the best guys out of the scenes.
Yeah.
But there are some scenes that get overlooked or some people say forgotten. I kind of disagree with that because I think it all comes down to the individuals and what they're willing to make it. You can't be judged, just in general for a region, I would say. And even in Florida, I think we have kind of like, down, Real Pro is pretty fixed on, the Fort Myers, Naples area. I guess that would be what the Southeast, Tampa Bay Pro. We're on, the mid, well, like I would say it would be like the Midwest of Florida, but people say Central Florida. I think Orlando, similar to like every one of the cities has different promotions, and a lot of times not just one. Like I just saw another promotion pop up over in Fort Myers, I think,
Yeah, the
which
energy,
like
I believe. Yeah.
yeah, I think it was called Energy, and I know nothing about it, but hey, good for them. Let's bring the scene back. I mean, Fort Myers got devastated.
Yeah.
And they're going to be coming back here. Real Pro's coming back. What on? It's in April. Is that right?
March 5th, less than a month away. We'll be back. It's the Comic Con. Ted DiBiase will be there. We'll be there.
$1 million man. Is Jordan Pierce Owens going to make an
Yeah,
appearance?
I always say we because I'm just it's so ingrained into me. But JPL will
Yeah,
probably not be there, but it's so ingrained into me. Even when I'm still helping book, even till to this day with Real Pro. So I'll still reach out to people like,
yeah,
"See you there," and I'm like, "Oh wait, no, I won't see you there." But it's just
and
ingrained.
a lot of people don't understand. As a promoter, booker, kind of jack of all trades, you're doing a lot of stuff here. I'm in the same boat. I would say you end up getting your hands dirty with everything, and a lot of people don't understand like the booking aspect. It's like people just think creative. No, it's literally you're booking people to come to your show to work it. You're booking talent, and there's a lot to goes into that. And making sure everybody's on level set, on the same page, understands compensation and different things, and schedule, and a lot of times people don't show up, and I think unfortunately that reliability aspect has hurt a lot of very talented wrestlers, because when you're unreliable, even though you can be the best wrestler in the world, you're not going to get booked. like
Yeah.
like it just comes down to that.
This is the rare sport where, yeah, if you bat 100, but you're just either A, not reliable, or B, kind of a dick, it might hurt you.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
And the thing is it's like everybody wants, like there's a lot of friendships that come out of this industry, and that's wonderful. But remember, when you got into this industry, you got into this for you, and it's not being selfish, but being a realist about, hey, you got to look out for you first because you can't help others unless you're in a good state to do that. And all right, so you kind of got started there. No, correct me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You did train briefly with Scyther, is that correct?
Yeah,
Or was
so
it someone before that?
I twice, yeah. So I
Mhm.
trained a little bit with Tim Sarago and DB Harrison
That's
in New
mhm.
Era for a little bit here.
For New Era,
Yeah,
yeah, that's what I
for
was
New
thinking,
Era.
right?
I
Mhm.
did a little bit there. Because and then same thing later on. I did a lot more with Scyther. I mean, for a little bit there, I was
Yeah,
with Dan Leiden, Roxy Rouge. Like I was
yeah,
there, a couple times a week usually. Because it wasn't necessarily to go, okay, I'm about to start taking bookings and traveling the state, but I definitely did want to be the guy that, like, you've seen the Tampa Bay Pro. Even last time I was there, hey, you want someone to kick me? You kick me. You want need me to
yeah,
take a bump? I can do that. Put me in a battle royal. You know what I mean? I've been in 6-man tags. I wanted to at least be that kind of manager
yeah,
where, because I'd seen it. I also seen it when it's been bad. I've seen managers take quote bumps, and I'm like, don't ever. That guy
yeah.
never can take a bump again because he can't. So
And
I definitely want to at least be able to do whatever was needed of me. You know what I mean? As
and
far as a manager.
yeah, exactly. And sometimes it's kind of like sometimes you like the managers that you don't want them to take too clean of a bump because then they look like wrestlers. You
Yeah.
almost want them to kind of look a little more crude in the way that they're going to take it because they like if you see Paul Heyman take a bump, he's going to look completely different than
Yeah.
Dolph Ziggler here. Um,
Yeah,
and
there's a
but
fine line there. Yeah.
yeah, so you want to make sure like it still stays you keeps that entertainment element, and I think you filled that. I'm trying to think. Did I like what did I do to you? Did I give you a pedigree? Is that what
You
I did
tr-
with that?
did you attempted to, and then I believe I had some backup. Yeah, yeah. You
Oh
definitely
yeah, yeah. That's
you
what I was.
definitely
I was
tried
going to
it
pedigree you.
officially.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. It didn't work out too well for me. Because Jordan hunts and packs here, but it all
I either had my
comes about.
wolves or my later on my stable.
You're stable. All right. And so Real Pro's coming up. You guys you come back hot and heavy here. Real excited about that. I'll plug in some stuff in post here about all the details of your event that's coming up. Um, and just to do some other plugs, Tenbei Pro, we are back on March 5th over at
Nice,
Retro Rat, the historic Retro Rat, and we got the nasty boy Brian Knobbs, so we'll be signing autographs. He's
nice.
our legend. That will be
I
there.
was so sad I missed the Godfather, man. Ah.
Charles was a gentleman, a true gentleman. I was very he actually just came out and just like was watching like 2 or 3 matches. One was the girls' match, of
That's
course, and
cool.
checking the, but 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 he was such a great pro, man, and it's so nice to actually get to work with some of these guys that were legends, in our adolescence here, and
Yeah.
still are legends, but yeah, just interacting with them and just realizing because sometimes you meet, some of the people that you really looked up to and you're not very impressed after that. But it was definitely a different story with Charles with the Godfather because he was so such a gentleman, such a pro, and he took time. It wasn't like, hey, sign your autograph, move on, sign your autograph, move on.
Yeah,
Like when he was
nice.
inside, he took time. People could talk with him and conversate, and just a
Those
great
are
dude.
those are the best. We can walk away feeling like, oh man, I really kind of got to meet him. You know what I mean? More so than
Yeah.
just, all right, thanks. That's
So
great.
everybody, tickets are $15 on TampaBayProWrestling.com, and you can go ahead and the autograph session that's in the store is a separate ticket. It's not mandatory. So if you just want to come out and check out the show, that's fine. But if you do want that special meet and greet experience, you can go ahead and head on into Retro Rats store, and there's a signing area for you.
And that's a great store too. Like I'm not just plugging for you, but like I love that store.
It's an awesome store. Like I kind of call it a toy store, more than like.
What
a
else
lot of
would
people
you
don't know
call
that.
it? Oh, because the games or
Well, they have games, they have comics,
true.
collectibles. I mean, it depends how people want to spend. I call it a toy store.
Yeah, I was
But
gonna say Toy Story was I would come to my mind because that's probably what I was
yeah.
looking at the most.
Have you found any stores like that out in Arizona?
There's a couple smaller ones, yeah. Nothing too big. I haven't looked too hard either. I've been trying to save money more than to spend it.
Hey, that's understandable for
So I'm
sure.
almost in a weird way trying not to find a store like that because if I do, then I just know there goes the money.
There goes your money. All right. Well,
Hey, for all your merchandise and collectible needs, check out ShopTampaBayProWrestling.com. We've got merch and more from your favorite superstars. We'll see you there.
let's jump into the hot topic here, which is the Florida Top 100. And I actually pulled down the images that you put up. I'm not sure what you call it. Each of the batches of folks, and maybe we'll just mention a few things that we want to point out on that. But I think first and foremost is how much heat have you gotten from this list?
So it's to my face that I actually know a very little. I keep hearing almost like sideways heat of like I don't know what everyone else is saying, but I like what you're doing. Getting some really good some good DMs and whatnot, and then good feedback on the page itself. Obviously, every post is going to have people going, "Why is that guy so low? Why is he so high? Why is she so low?" And I just keep, and that's respectful. Even in that first batch here, man, there are arguably people that should be 90 spots higher, and I get that for 100% for sure. It was a smaller poll, and also this got way more recognized than I thought it would. At one point, I just thought about putting the 100 out there all at once, and then I only did it in batches because I was like, oh, this is more fun. I'll make little graphics,
With more
you know.
anticipation. And it's just, guys like I know Marquise and Noah Vale and
Yeah.
a lot of guys. Who was it? Tim August, were like in a hizzy there a little bit. It was kind of funny. So,
And they all
hey,
place very high, and if you were placed lower, I wouldn't take any knock to it. But if you are higher, definitely know that you're doing something right because even the little poll I had shows that there's a lot of love for you.
so just to pull the curtain back a little bit,
Sure.
I was one of I provided my input to Jordan for I don't know if I hit 100. I just was like, man, like you said, you were putting a poll together. I was like, man, I just like, who would I say would be in the top 100? I didn't list 100, and I sent you a list, and it was only guys. I didn't put any girls on there because I think the criteria for me, I wouldn't grade them together. That's just my personal opinion. Just because it's just a little bit different for the girls. I think they should have a different poll, but that's my personal opinion.
I toyed around with that idea, and that's something that I'm very. And I try telling people this too. I'm very open to how we want to do this next year because I
Yeah.
like that people are actually watching and looking and either loving it or hating it. People are looking, so I'm very happy to do it way bigger next year. And that is a discussion as to whether we want to do an all
I
inclusive or a separate list. So that's
exactly.
that's definitely a question.
Like there's different ways we could do it, like to a hidden poll, like maybe on Survey Monkey or something like that, where it's just exclusive. You pick. It's kind of like the Academy Awards in the sense that they have like the individuals that have paved the way in the industry, and those are the ones that kind of vote. Or like some Hall of Fames that the Hall of Famers are the ones that vote in the new inductions.
Yeah.
It's kind of like one of those deals, but I think one of the big reasons this got a lot of traction is a lot of the guys that are running around out of state have kind of coined this term, the forgotten state of Florida. I personally, I understand from a lot of perspective, they feel like they're forgotten. But I also think that Florida is not forgotten because Florida pro wrestlers have paved the industry. Hulk Hogan from Port Tampa, right here in Tampa. No, Macho Man was from Cincinnati. Steve Kern, right here in Tampa. The Brandon Bomber himself, Paul Orndorff, right here in the Tampa Bay area. Like a ton of wrestlers paved the way. Dusty Rhodes, he's from Texas originally, but he settled here in Florida and made a big scene. I think Florida is kind of like I would call it more of the secret sauce of the pro wrestling industry. We're what kind of the ingredient a lot of these national company and international companies have used. Of course, the Northeast, it's a more populated area. It's concentrated. Like what I don't know the statistics, but I bet there's per mile in New York or Massachusetts or Rhode Island or Pennsylvania, it's probably 40 times more wrestlers than Arizona. You know what I mean? Per square mile or whatever. So like it's just there's more people. And because there's more people, there's more shows, there's more opportunity for a lot of those. But also in Florida, we have a lot of promotions, a lot of workers in this. Like we're known for our work rate in Florida. We're known for having diverse styles in Florida. And that's really important to the industry, to people, for people to remember. I could go wrestle up in it's not Florida, but near Valdosta in South Georgia, just over the border, and it's a completely different style than if I wrestled in Fort Myers or if I wrestled in Tampa or Orlando. There's a diverse amount of companies that are here. You're going to get the rep count here. Also, because of the performance centers have been here, whether were at FCW in Tampa and then NXT in Tampa, then NXT in Orlando, you got a lot of wrestlers just flocking, like the Mecca of pro wrestling, to get opportunity here in Florida because that's where the new people were getting signed. So you got a lot of wrestlers that are just in the area that are really good. They migrated down here because they're trying to get because they're contract chasing at that point. So what other criteria went into, I guess, like when I sent you it, I didn't send you a list of, let's say, like, hey, like this guy should be higher than this guy. I just sent you, these are a batch of wrestlers I think should be within the top 100. I didn't rank them. I just sent you a list of wrestlers. I sent you guys, and we'll get into it, but I sent you guys I've never met before, but I've seen them on YouTube. Like I know there was I was watching a few CCW episodes from down south, and Jacko Stevens. I've never met Jacko in my life, but I saw the guy's work.
That was a name that I wasn't too familiar with. Yeah.
But I saw his
work
made several
online. Lists. Yeah.
He looked great. And he just happened to be wrestling a buddy of mine, Anthony Katina, I think. Or and then I was like, hey, I'm gonna check this guy out. And I was watching their YouTube show and looked great. I was like, dude, this guy is solid, And but there was a lot of guys that were on that list that I didn't know, but I sent you because I was like, this guy deserves to be here, Obviously aesthetics, I think, is a factor here. Like work rate, style, ability to get over. What else would you say kind of, went into this?
Yeah, so to go back just a tiny bit here, yeah, it initially started out as kind of my love letter to Florida. You know what I mean? I thought about even doing this last year. I might have even made the original post last year and then kind of backed off. I think almost in fear of getting heat of like, oh, people are going to be mad if they're 90, you know what I mean, or 70 or 60 when they should be higher. But I went further with it this year and actually went through with it. And like I said, and it's such a big state too, to where, like you said, I'm not too familiar with some of the CCW guys, or I tried asking people that were higher in the state, give me some Jacksonville guys. I asked several fans, you know what I mean? Crazy Amanda, hey, she attends several shows. Who do you like? Yep. Who do you think is the best going currently? Who are you attached to? Louis, who does those travel vlogs. I asked commentators, Josh Johnson, Zach Romero, and several wrestlers. I tried purposely not making it just Fort Myers, because then Zach will win. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
But at the same time, because I posted on my wall, I got a lot of Fort Myers input. You know what I mean? Yeah, so
exactly.
I really just went
that was your squad.
Yeah, exactly. So and it was because it was a fan voting. Some wrestlers had people come out for them. You know what I mean? Some wrestlers had people jockey for them. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So there are definitely some wrestlers that are higher because their fan base spoke. You
Hmm.
know, and
And
so
also, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but also
no,
you watch a lot of independent wrestling.
yeah.
Like, you
I still try,
subscribe
like
on
you said, the CCW. I'll try to
but
watch those WWNs.
IWTV,
You
like you're
guys,
on
obviously,
hmm IWTV, things like that. And then
yeah.
like, um, would you say that one of the criteria is of I guess how often they're wrestling in this year or that past year? Like because there's some guys that were pretty high up, but they're really good and they probably would have been a top 10 guy maybe 6 years ago, but because they're not working as often or they're kind of like kind of coming down a little bit on their bookings in Florida,
Yeah.
they may have been ranked a little bit higher. And also like like there's a lot of guys that are kind of breaking out of the state and wrestle in other places, but just because you're a big name, like I wrestle to my own horn, yeah, I wrestle in MLW, but does that really draw attention to Florida? You know what I mean? Like should that make my rank higher because I wrestle, occasionally on TV? Um, I'm not sure if it should. I think, in my opinion, it should go based off of the contribution to the state of Florida and the promotions that are there. But that's my
Yeah,
opinion.
I think, and that's another good debate because I think you could look at it from both ways, and I think every one that voted looked at it in different ways. Was it just Florida? I had someone ask, "Why isn't this person higher?" And I said, I think one of the reasons because they don't do Florida much, and that's
Yep.
not even a bad thing in a weird
No.
way. That's a great thing. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I think that person was just out of mind when these people are voting, because, and also too, there is a bit of a buys them too, maybe because it's I polled in January. If they haven't seen the person in a couple months, they're going, who's really impressed me in the last couple months? That
Yep.
obviously can play a factor into. There's so many different factors, and everyone can view it in a different way. And yeah, I really, and you saw kind of what I wrote you. I didn't really give you specifics. I didn't say tell me who's rocking Florida, who has the overall, who's had the most championships. I just kind of wanted names that and like you said, I love the longer list. You and Josh give me longer lists, and people give me 3 names, some people give me 5 names, and I just want to see who you thought was kind of at the top of their game, who comes to your mind right away, and then I just kind of put numbers to it. And if there was any kind of tiebreakers, which there definitely was, especially in those later numbers, it was like me and one or two other people kind of had little small discussions, and we made the brackets how they were.
Okay. I'm just going to go over the top, the first batch here. We got Beasley Brody, Anthony Catino, Michael Damos, Emily Locke, ERA 96, Ariel Dominguez, Ashley, Jay Sky, Richard King, and Scythe. So just like Beasley was I know he wrestles in Orlando at the No Peace Underground still from time to time. He definitely would be higher if it was a few years ago, I would think.
Yeah,
But Anthony Katina made a big impact here in Florida. I think he's out of state now, but he may be local from time to time. Michael Damos, of course, he's a you know Florida stud down here. He's back in Florida. I believe he's in Orlando. Really popping off. He was just on AEW recently. Emily Locke, killing it in Florida. She's out of the Lethal's lab here a few years ago, and she's doing fantastic, killing it. Up in she's doing Georgia and Florida, Tampa Bay Pro, various places. ERA recently made. I haven't seen ERA in a bit here. ERA was the one working the scene down in the Miami area, if I remember correctly. He just did Impact. I think he was on Impact taping. Is that right?
I think he was. Yeah, he's been around for a while, man. I've been doing shows with like him and
Yeah,
like Brody for probably a decade at this point, and I think he does a lot of offers. Uh, is what he does
yeah.
kind of mostly now.
Um, Ariel Dominguez. Ariel works a lot of the CCW shows in Kissimmee. Did a lot of extra work, I know, in NXT. Ashley Mayberry recently had a kid about a year and a half ago. Is getting back into the scene, specifically around WXW. She has worked in Tampa Bay Pro a few times as well. Jay Sky and Richard King, the guys, killing me. I can't remember their tag team name.
The Rapture.
The Rapture, hell of a tag team, good work rate tag team. They're not tagging anymore. They're both breaking out, but I think they both can stand on their own feet. They're very good, and great guys in the back, true pros. And Scyther, the trainer of the Crypt, hell of a worker. He's a whipwreck guy originally. Great dude. Love wrestling. Scyther. He definitely deserving to be on this list for sure. All right, so we'll go. Any input there, Jordan? You want to point out from that class or that batch?
Yeah, man. So yeah, just to kind of go along, like you were saying with excuse me, Katana maybe no longer being a Florida guy. Again, the kind of criteria was kind of loose. So I think, because he was still doing FIP this year. So I think as long as you had an impact in Florida, at least several times, that's what's going to count for the year. And like I said, kind of for the year, like I do envision this kind of being a New Year poll. So, as long as they had that impact in Florida throughout that calendar year, you're eligible. And again, this is just shows the talent that's in Florida. I love this list. This if you said this was 20 to 30 or higher, I'd believe you. You know what I mean? So you said kind of before, maybe this was a couple years back. I think Brody was doing more stuff around the state. ERA's been killing it for over a decade. Demos for several years now. King and Sky, man, I have no doubt that they're going to be tremendous singles competitors. They've put in such good work so far here. I'm a big fan, and this is it starts off really good, and I can see why people were maybe suspicious from the get go because it's a great first 10.
Yeah, if I had a pick of that batch of guys that would be signed within 5 years, I would say Richard King would be on the top of the list, Michael Damos and Anthony Katina. Not to set anybody else aside, but that's just my personal opinion. I think I could see those guys getting a contract here pretty soon. Just if no offense to anybody else on the list, but if I had a pick, that's who I would pick on that list. All right. I don't have, and I looked on your page, I don't have 81 to 90 or 81 to 90.
I can send it to you real quick if you got a second.
If you just want to read it off, we can just read it off.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I couldn't find it on your profile, so
it was there. People definitely talked about it.
Maybe I just missed it, but I didn't see it on your feed.
We'll go. So we'll start off. 90 obviously. 90 Simon Says. That's another guy that took a bit of a break here, but is back at it. Great promo, very fun guy.
He wrestled Jerry Lawler, I think, this year.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, over at was it Fred Goodman's USA Pro? Yeah, fighting Lawler.
And we wish Jerry Lawler and we wish Jerry Lawler a healthy recovery here. He just had a stroke.
100%. 100%. Yeah, much love to the King. Hopefully we'll see him just doing good here soon. 89, another name that I think would be top 10 in some other years. Torture, fire breathing monster. Torture. He's been at it for quite a long time. I always loved being in locker rooms with him. 88, Ali Rex. Always doing great things. 87, another guy I've known for over a decade now. TC Reed, Trevor Reed. Find him in CCW. He used to run Ronin. I believe maybe we'll see a return of Ronin. Who knows? 86, someone you should know very well, Troy Hollywood. Another guy that I think has done slightly less bookings in Florida. So again, another guy in other years, I think definitely a 10 or 20 spot and could see again, and also did some really cool kind of like AEW stuff recently. 85, the Captain Aaron Nova, always an entertaining guy to follow here. I think I love seeing him do interesting things, whether it's managing or commentary, and it's a great in-ring performer. 84, Chelsea Durden, we got on the list here, a great female competitor. 83, Merrick Donovan, who I think who sadly got injured last couple months, but I think we'll be back around April or May. Looking forward to that return. Number 82 this is definitely a top 10er for probably over a decade in other years, Francisco Chiazzo, who
Frankie,
is still a great journeyman, no pun intended, his documentary, and still giving back too, man. Still also training people and helping that next generation. And 81 Unbreakable Lexi Gomez, one of my favorite female talents. Again, I think a tremendous batcher.
yeah, Lexi and Chelsea, just to mention. I think that was all the ladies, and Ailey. All those
Yeah,
girls,
3 of them. Yeah.
incredible. All those girls could be signed. I think within the next 5 years. Um, Definitely fantastic entertainers there. I think that whole batch was very good. Torture, one of my mentors early on in my career, and still is. The guy that could shoot straight with me, helped me
Yes.
learn to slow down as a big guy. I definitely think you got a lot of good talent right there. TC Reed, I mean, Trevor was killing it there for years and years, and tagging with
Yeah, one of my favorite
TC
tag team, Tech Squad. Yeah.
Tech Squad, and I mean, he's kind of leaned back a little bit, but he definitely has the capability of doing some big stuff. I think he did wrestle on AEW Dark last year. I
He's
want
had
to
a couple.
say
He's had a couple. Yeah, matches on there. He's another one that definitely has
yeah,
had some shout outs. He appeared in
during
Impact a couple years back.
it could have been during the closed tapings in Jacksonville. All right, well, we'll go on to the next ones here. Great squad here as well. We got Sean O'Reilly, which you made a typo on the text, which Sean Haley. And we're like,
It
well,
was just
that's
on the
wrong.
text though. On the graphic was right.
The graphic was
right.
fine. The graphic and the text on the graphic was correct. Just to make that clear, Sean probably won't be on the list next year. No offense, Sean, but you moved to Wyoming. So, but Sean making a big impact there at SXBW. Killing himself. Killing himself. I always love wrestling Sean, and he's a great worker. He can do cruiserweight stuff. He can brawl. Some great fundamentals. A lot of fun to work. Then we got Colt Gentry, formerly known as Liam Walker. Jason Dugan, making a big impact out there in ARW. And beyond that, he does a lot of. I think he does Impact Pro up in North Florida, and other promotions as well. Jason's a great guy. Ruby Flyer, the hardcore deathmatch scum himself. Ruby's fantastic, a good friend of mine. Always out to kill it on every show. Then we got Waylon Barley. Waylon, a fixture up there in North Florida, Georgia, Alabama area. New Heights Wrestling is been around 15 years, I think, or somewhere around there. He's definitely made a huge impact. He came and wrestled in Tampa at the Beef O'Brady show. Killed it with Boone. I think that was one of Boone's best matches I've ever seen him have. Then we got here. It's hard for me to see on the other screen here. We got Daisy Kill. I do not know Daisy Kill. But I have been told multiple times he is very good. He looks a good-looking dude. And any commentary on Daisy Kill? Any comments there?
No, I was just say this is a good list of this is what I liked about the list that I was kind of shooting for is that bottom row in general I'm not super familiar with other than maybe seeing a video or two.
Yeah.
These were all names that just they had the votes, man, and looking them up, I've become even more of a fan now. So that's kind of what this was. It was kind of to show you the category of Florida of whether it's up or down the state. You mentioned Barley before being a more of a north guy, like. Yeah, this bottom row, I'm not too familiar with. I'm kind of with you, but they have all been very impressive from what I've seen.
Yeah, and then we got Jacko Stevens. I mentioned Jacko already. I really liked his work. I spoke with some wrestlers that have wrestled him. He's a hell of a worker. He does like this. I don't know what's called, like this Russian dance where they like kick their legs out, like he squats and like kicks his legs. I don't know what it is, but it's pretty cool. That jumps out at me. But he's a hell of a worker. He's not just a gimmick guy. Then we got Alan Martinez. I don't know Alan. Any info on Alan? What's this guy look
No,
like?
he said that bottom row not too much. I think another CCW guy. I want to say.
Yeah, I would say probably CCW.
Yeah.
Preston Veston. He's actually Preston Veston the third. Preston
I saw
Veston.
different listings. I wasn't sure if I had to go with that. So my
Well,
apologies.
he
My
doesn't always
apologies.
advertise the third. So
Okay, good. I don't feel
he
bad.
actually he actually was I interviewed him last on the Daxcast, and I found that out. I had no idea he was actually doing like a financial like rich guy gimmick back in the day, like $1 Million Man or like Winston Bentley the third, which we'll mention in a little bit. Then we got here. I believe it's Ariel Levy. I don't know Ariel. It looks like that picture is a Speedy photo, so from AEW. So I'm assuming he's done some dark work over at AEW. So and guys, like we said, like if you're just mentioned in the conversation of being top 100, I wouldn't take the literal number. It's like, hey, he's 66 and I'm 67. You know, you're in the conversation. And by the
And
way, most of the rest, like this list is not including like pro wrestlers that live in Florida that are legends or signed to WWE, because most of the wrestlers, I would probably say 40% of the wrestlers signed to WWE probably live in Florida. So,
no,
you
and
know,
that is something I definitely had a criteria of. That was one thing I had. Like for instance, I definitely got Gangrel votes, but Gangrel is a WWF legend. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like we all know him, we all love him. You don't need to hype that guy. That guy is hyped. So like
yeah,
I purposely kind of like put him to the side just because I was like
y-
I wanted this to be more of like an up and coming or like
y-
a respect of like the Florida legends that haven't always been sung.
exactly. The like Jay Lethal lives in Tampa. Like you're not
Yeah,
gonna put Jay
I'm
Jay
not
on
putting
there.
in
I mean, he's signed to AEW or
AEW.
Josh Woods or whatever.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Next up, we got 70 Vega TV. Um, I'll just go through the list and then I'll go back with a few. Krieger, the German, Guten Tag. Dash and Cam, I like that pick. Mr. C of from Controversial Incorporated, I believe
Yep.
is their group. Cameron Stewart, JT Mercer, the Hellhound, Cody Behringer, the other Hellhound, right back to back there. So there's some fighting that they can make between 65 and 64. Salazar, the other member of Controversial Inc., Apollo Jr., son of the great lion himself, Apollo, out of Impact in Puerto Rico, and Jake Sterling. I believe that's how we pronounce it. So just a few go backs here. Anything you want to mention out of that classic, guys? I think it's all
I
guys.
know.
Yeah.
This particular list, another kind of mixed bag of people that I'm definitely familiar with. I've seen the Hellhounds a lot. I actually had to do a couple different shows with the Controversial Inc. They were very impressive here. Apollo, I think, is really coming into himself as well. From the last couple of years, I've definitely seen growth there, and was always entertaining to begin with. Cameron Stewart, I believe, pretty new, but he was just an extra over at Raw the other day, and he's definitely someone that's going to definitely. I saw a lot of people like, you should be hired kind of things. It's like, well, vote for him next year. If he's not signed, vote for him next year.
I
And
believe they said they wanted
everyone.
him to be number 69 for
Oh, that
specific
was the other
reason.
thing too. Yeah, they were
Yeah.
unfortunately. Which shows again, hey, I'm not trying to. I should have done that maybe just to have fun, but
Yeah.
I was trying to be honest with the folks and
Didn't think about that. Your mind's not in the gutter.
Poor
That's
Krieger. Krieger's a sexy fella. Look at him.
Yeah.
Come on.
He's like, what are you
He's a
talking
good
about?
69. And no, Dash and Cam was somebody I believe in the tag team Kiss It. I'd heard some love for his partner as well. And I was going to say before too, for anyone that didn't quite make it, this easily could have been a 125, a 150. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's so many great people here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a few guys. Cam, I didn't know him before he came out to my show. I know this year I knew of him, and hey, try to get on, and I was helping out. I was like, bud, you got your gear, jump on in, and I actually wrestled with him in, I don't know, maybe it was a gauntlet or what have you, or a rumble of some sort. I can't remember specifically, but I was very impressed with Cam, especially him being that young in the business. He's a flatbacks kid. He was trained by Tyler Breeze and Sean Spears, and he he really has been coming on. He's done NXT work already, WWE Extra work, and AEW already. So I mean, good looking kid, bigger kid. Like he's actually a larger dude. Like I think he's probably about 6'3", I would say. Vega TV. I want to bring up Vega TV. I think this guy. I think he has a lot of upside. He is a hell of a mic stick dude. He can talk on the microphone, and I think that's one thing that we're missing. I'm missing that in my promotion. I think if you look at some deficiencies, especially since you're gone, and some, a lot of the guys that would do a lot of promos, Vega TV is a guy. He's great on the microphone. He's he's really entertaining, and he does these promos online. If you ever check out his social media page, he just these hilarious promos. I love them. Krieger, again, he kind of had a breakout year. He's still breaking out of the scene. Still, get his feet wet. He's definitely someone to keep an eye on. Looks great, has a good package well. Dashing Cam, I think he I've wrestled him a few times now. I was very impressed. He hits hard, has a lot of personality, and he's a Bills fan, so props to that. And Mr. C, I don't know Mr. C very well, but every interaction I saw, he's very professional. JT Mercer and Cody Behringer, I can't say anything more than they're fantastic. Mercer, that guy is probably the best guy at working the leg in the state. Cody Behringer has this intensity about him. I'm really glad to have him back and those guys running and gunning. Salazar, hell of a brawler. We used to work for Tampa Bay Pro. Maybe I'll get him back eventually here. But he's a real class act dude. I really like him. Apollo Jr., this dude is incredible. Okay, he would come over, train with us. The stuff that he can do off the top rope, the stuff that his fundamentals that he has is unparalleled. It is a shame he is not signed to a contract. I'm just to put him on a pedestal. He is incredible. If he can get, like, there's a few other things that I'm not going to mention on the podcast that he's working on, and if he could get some of those things right, there's no reason he shouldn't be on TV. Jake Sterling. Jake, I've interacted with him. I think he was a Francisco Chiasso graduate out of WWN. He is great look, moves well. Real, a true pro. I'm really happy about him, and I know now he's training over with Natty and TJ
Nice.
in the new dungeon there. So, real great class of guys there. Congrats on being on that, guys. Next, we have. We're at 60 here. Ozzy Killmeister. I don't know much about Ozzy. No offense, Oz. David Ramos, Gus De La Vega, or Gus. I like to call him Gus Money. Ricky Martinez, Tweedle Dye, Axe Clover, Omkar, Azriel Rowe. I think that's Chance Charin. Is that how you pronounce it?
Oh, I actually think hey, finally have a misspell. Chance. I think I put chain in the graphic. Oh, damn.
It's covered up on my screen, on my other screen here. And then I think that says, is it Damian Ferrier?
It's FENIRR. IRIR. So Fenrir. I'm not sure. I'm actually not 100%.
I'm not sure, but he racks it in at 51.
Yes.
Any go backs here?
Another list I really like here, man. Speaking, I'll just try to go real quick and give everybody some love here. Ozzy, a lot of things coming out of CCW. Another person I interviewed was Steve Mesa Media, who does some shooting over in a lot of the Miami area. I know he's sang his praises before for a while outside of the list here, and there's another guy that's really going at it hard. He actually got to fight Martin Stone recently. I'm sure that was a great opportunity for him. Dean Ramos has been around for a while. He's popped up a little bit in everywhere here. Gus De La Vega was another one that had a lot of love in the comments. People saying maybe should have been higher. Ricky Martinez and Tweedle Dye. Those are another two examples of guys I've known for well over a decade now that have been killing it. Ricky Martinez recently got into a little, not bad shape, but definitely the worst shape he's ever been in, and now is in the best shape of his life and doing
it's incredible.
Modeling.
He's winning bodybuilding competitions.
Bodybuilding. Thank you. And like, yeah, so like kudos to him for, oh my God, really turning it around and being kind of an
Hell of a
inspiration in a
worker.
way.
Hell of a
Always
worker.
has been, man.
An RPW original, I believe.
Not technically, yeah. I mean, he was around from the early days. Coastal champion, held it for a long time. Him and Snoop, tremendous matches. Him and
Oh yeah.
even Barrington would be great. Anyone, man.
Max
He's one of those
Max
guys.
Stardom. Max Stardom was his
Max
other
Star, the
name.
5-star superstar. That's why I was saying, yeah, I've known him
Yep.
for over a decade when he was Max Stardom.
Yep.
Axe Clover, a guy who does a little bit less now, but always great. Does a lot of stuff for Atomic. And then, of course, a couple guys you know very well, Umkar and Azrael Rowe. Umkar getting some really good shape here, expanding, traveling a little bit here.
Yep.
Azrael's kind of coming to his own as well. Chance is a lot of FIP stuff. He's been FIP tag champion. He's always looked good. I don't even know him personally, just seen him on like iPay-per-view and maybe live. And Damien was I believe, a Gangrel guy, I want to say, and he's always stood out to me. If you ever watched those GWA like shows back in the day, or now I believe CZW, he's always stood out, and I can see why he was on several people's lists.
I think you missed Tweedle.
Well, no, I threw Tweedle in there with Ricky, saying like those are guys that
you said Ricky.
I've known for over a decade that have been always entertaining and killing it, and Tweedle still to this day. You'll see him over.
Yeah, we got Ricky and Ricky next to each other technically.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, hard body, Ricky,
hard body,
full
av.
No, he's another guy, man. He's been entertaining, and he's somebody also too I love backstage as well. But yeah,
I think Rick or Tweedle is New Heights champion right now.
Yeah, and he's another guy. Yeah, he does good stuff.
Yeah, so and he's kind of reinvented himself. Him and the Princess of Weird there have kind of revigorated him, and he's doing great. That Monster of the Midway, David Ramos. I think he's very smooth in the ring. Like, people might not see this as fans, but he's very smooth, very easy to work with. A true pro. I always enjoy working with David. Gus Money, a lot of fun. That guy's like man, he's just like a ball of energy when you wrestle him. Ricky Martinez, I can't say anymore. He was on MLW with us. He probably still. I could see him going back at some point, or being on TVs as AW. He basically wrestling sister Diamante. She signed at AEW, obviously. So, a Rusty Brooks guy originally. Axe Clover. Axe, another great worker. Like, super fun to work with, easy to work with, and smart putting matches together. Omkar, I kicked him in the ass and I said, "Bud, you better just start making popping around in the scene." So he's been doing that this year. I know he's doing with he has a family thing that's going on right now. Prayers go out to his family right now, but he's doing fantastic on the scene. Looks like $1 million. Did debut on AEW Dark, I think, that last year as well. Azrael Rowe, a pint-sized, just ball of talent. He's so much fun. I wrestled him at District Pro, I believe, or no, I'm sorry, not District Pro, Local Pro in Orlando. It was so much fun.
People love him too, man. He always gets a pop.
He's infectious. He's infectious, and if you ask him, he's 7'8". Okay, he doesn't. It doesn't bother him at all. The fact of his height or lack thereof. Chance, I've never wrestled Chance. But every time I've seen him, he's typically has a belt around his waist, so that says enough about him.
Yeah, I think I cropped out 2 of them. He's holding 2 of them in that photo.
Yeah, and he wrestles, I believe, in DCCW as well. That's, I think, his home promotion.
Yes.
Okay. Next up. Oh man, I messed up my my screen. Okay, there it goes. Is number 50, Jake St. Patrick, JSP. Then we have Benji Neptune, Alex Chamberlain, Sage Scott, Mr. A1 himself, the Puerto Rican Hound Dog, Sideshow, local legend here, La Brava, Damien Angel, one half of State Line, Sean Holly, and the man himself, that dude, John Davis. Any go backs here?
Oh man, this is another example. Half of this list, either other years or even this year, you could say top 10 worthy. I mean, we'll start off. I mean, Alex Chamberlain, he's been great. Stuff in Ronin and still doing it. Like I said, I think maybe just you see him less, but still worthy definitely of being here. Hound Dog, Sideshow, Damien Angel, all three of them have been killing it for who know way longer than even I've been here. I'm such a fan of all three of those, man, both as people and as talents here. Always enjoy being in the locker room with Sideshow or Hound Dog and Damien Angel too. It's just another level. John Davis, I mean, again, I can see why people are mad that he's. I don't want to say again. I hate using the word low, but I can see why people obviously like, how is he this low? Again, I think just because maybe he does a little bit less now. He's less
Yeah.
in the forefront of the mind for some people. But of course, there's another guy that's done everything. Even Ring of Honor. And then for the other guys here, man, JSP is such a great talent here. Benji, it's one of the greatest things I always love about being part of Tampa Bay Pro was literally knowing guys from the get-go, man. It's so cool seeing Benji be crew member to starting off in the roster to then just getting better every time I see him here. Another guy that's in just tremendous shape here, and I've really enjoyed seeing him. We use him a lot in Real Pro because he's
Yep.
another guy that has connected and I'm really looking forward to seeing his journey in these next few years. Sage Scott has kind of broken out. He's popped up on AEW several times here. Done stuff I think over even for a reality of wrestling, Booker T.
Yeah.
So he's doing great. La Brava, I got to see firsthand a little bit last year with Platinum Pro. She's great, man. And then Sean Hawley, who's kind of broken out here in Real Pro, even kind of being that underdog, almost Mike Whipwreck like champion for us. A lot of people are voting for him. Yeah, so that's another great
He's
list
the
here.
top
Much
crown.
to respect here. Yeah,
Is a top crown champion at Real
yeah,
Pro? Is
we
top
held the
crown?
top crown, like our heavyweight champion.
It's your heavyweight. Okay.
Yeah,
Just a few go backs for me. Jake St. Patrick, incredible. This guy, I
so
can
good,
see being signed probably within
so
the
good.
next few years. Great look, moves fantastic, a very special athlete. Benji Neptune. I've known this guy. I recruited him. Okay, and he had a rough start. Well, he started off in one of the earlier classes, I think, with Brandon Law. Like goes far, it might go
Really?
that far back, yeah, way back. So like one of the first Lethal Academy classes, and then he had some family stuff that happened, and then he came back. So a lot of times when the guys leave, I don't think they're going to come back. It's not.
Totally.
It's just a track record thing. Alex
I
Chamberlain,
feel you.
this guy was when I first kind of got in. This guy was really, tearing it up, getting like I thought he may have got signed or at some point, or maybe he was doing
I know, like when Ring
quite a bit of
Warriors was on
work.
TV, he was doing Ring Warriors.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Alex, definitely, if we had this list 7 years ago, this guy
yeah.
would be top,
He's one of the top tenors. Yeah.
yeah, top 10 for sure. Sage Scott, another guy wrestles at Tampa Bay Pro. For me, he is incredible. Great look, looks like $1 million. Like you said, he's starting to get out there, venture out, and he just he's just tearing it up, and you can come see him at Tampa Bay Pro next March or on the 5th here. Hound
Nice.
Dog, just a staple of Florida independent scenes. Always so much fun to work. Sideshow. What else can I say? He's a legend. If we had a Hall of Fame in the state of Florida of the past 25 years, Sideshow
Real Pro did it.
would be on there.
He's in the
Yep.
Real Pro Hall of Fame. We did.
Oh, is he in the Real Pro Hall of Fame? Yeah,
Absolutely, yeah. Because he was a day one guy for us too that we had to have. We love Sideshow.
and he's a hell of a DJ. He DJ'd the wedding,
Yeah.
so he's so he does DJ services as well. I
Yeah.
gotta plug that.
It's
for
hard
the
to
show.
book him sometimes because I'll try to book him and he'll go,
I
"I'm
know.
doing a gig. I'm got a wedding or whatever." I'm like, "Damn, all right."
La Brava, her real name's Sam. Sam has really been tearing it up. She did some AW stuff, I think, this past year or two. She's really gotten great shape. She's tightened up her work. She's been doing stuff in Puerto Rico. There's no reason I don't see this girl getting signed within the next 5 years. Damien Angel, another staple of the state of Florida. So much fun to work. Very intense. Has a great look. And he continues to do that. Just stand for Florida excellence. Sean really come about the breakout year. I think for him right after COVID came back, and Real Pro was still running the gun there. That guy really came out of nowhere and really stepped up to the plate. A lot of times you can't just throw somebody on that main event level, and but
Yeah,
he
man.
stood his own there. John Davis, what else can I say about John? The former Ring of Honor tag team champion. The only reason he's even at that number and not within the top 5 is because he's just toned down his bookings. I mean, like that's the only reason. But when he does show up and work a show, he kills it. Like
Yeah,
usually
man.
match of the night
Was it
whenever he
a
shows
couple
up.
years
So
back? For when the WWE, I think it was the Eddie Kingston Grindhouse show and Port St. Richie, him and Freddie Ahai. Oh my god.
yeah. I mean, just here 1 second here, real quick. I lost my window there, so let me exit full screen real quick, and I'm gonna go grab the next batch here. I think we're at 30. I know we're running a little long here, but we'll hopefully be wrapping this up. We'll try to make this a little quicker. All right, next up we have this is the best class, by the way, for a
I
specific
was gonna say
reason,
you might
which
like
we'll
this
get
crop.
into.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually think this class is a very good class. I'm very happy to be in this company here. Tiny Tonally, Tiny the Suplex Queen herself, Blanco Loco up in 39, Hunter Law, the absolute best himself, Kelsey Reagan, myself, Dax. See, you just put Dax. It wasn't Dax the X or Dr. Dax. You just put Dax. That was smart because I got a few gimmicks going on. So,
I don't
so
want to blow
that's
up your
fine.
spot. What do you
Winston
mean,
Bentley,
Dax
the
or Doctor
third.
Dax? What do you mean?
No, it's all right. This is we're pulling her back. I don't really care. Winston Bentley the third, one half financially stable. Samuel C. With no periods on it. In Tammy Pro, he has periods between his letters. Dante Casanova, Che Guzman, and Chico Adams. Go backs.
Oh my god,
Naturally.
this whole list. I'm in love with this list. Tiny has really stepped out, man. She was somebody she debuted for Real Pro. And I think she won like Breakout Star of the Year or something with our fan votes for that because she was just so talented and definitely left an impression doing stuff for WWN. I see big things in the next couple years for her. Blanco, always a well-traveled competitor here, man. OVW all over the country, international superstars along with Dream Girl Ellie. Always putting on some great matches. I am absolutely in love with Hunter Law and have been for quite a while here, man. I see some HBK in him. But he's his own thing. I think Hunter Law is fantastic. I think he's only not hired because he's branched out. He's still doing great things in FIP, but as I think he's top notch for a long time here. Kelsey, one of my favorite female competitors in Florida here. She's great too, man. 36, not sure if I've ever heard of him. But no, I got love for my Dax, baby. So happy to see you got the votes to be this high as well. WB the third, financially stable, great tag team here. I think he's somebody too. He's a really good interview I had. I can see him sticking around, even if it's not in a wrestling capacity. I think his mind and his personality to do anything in wrestling. Samuel C. It's been fun seeing him grow as a competitor here, man. I've known him for several years as that bright-eyed rookie to really come in and into his own. He's even been a fun heel these last couple of years. I love Sammy. Dante's done great for the little bit of time he's been around. He's done great. He looks great. I think it was literally on AEW like last week, I feel, or the last 2 weeks. Money maker or money making Shea Guzman here is another one that has kind of impressed in a very quick amount of time. And Chico is another one that I think maybe a top 10 in other years, but still doing great things. A guy that obviously has a lot of trust with WWE. You've seen him on Raw Underground. He's refereed. He did the referee at the wedding last year for Dana Brooke and Reggie. You always see him kind of doing stuff like that. He trains with Tyson Kidd as well. I love Chico Adams. It's another great list.
Yeah. Chico has done every job on that
Yeah,
you can have in
and
this
done it well.
business. The guy is scratching and clawing. I think he's actually at NWA right now in Florida. That's taping right now or tonight.
I believe it.
So
I believe
I
it.
wouldn't be surprised to see him show up there. But going back to the top here, Tiny, um, man, what else can you say about this girl? Is so good with her technical ability. I think I've given her a lot of criticism. She's been one of my mainstays here at Dream Women's Wrestling on the upstart of that. She's really had a breakout year. And I don't see her slowing down anytime soon. That girl wants it, and she's going to get it. And I look forward. I think I know she's working with Low Key right now. Key
Mm.
was telling me that he's been working with her. She's working actually Persia Price at the next Tampa Bay Pro show at Dream Women's Wrestling. A showcase that will be there. So that's a can't miss that deal. Blanco Loco. Blanco, I mean, probably the only reason he's not in the top 10 is because he doesn't wrestle in the state of Florida as much.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
He
Yeah.
it's just one of those things. And you say the same thing about me, no offense. But no, Blanco's incredible. He's evolved incredible. He's adds so much to his arsenal. Very innovative wrestler. Looks fantastic, in great shape right now. Hunter Law, what can you say, man? This guy, the absolute best for a reason. Okay, he the deity of decapitation. He is if he was lived in Florida still, he would be a top 10 for sure. It's just because he's in Louisiana and he comes down for FIP occasionally. Maybe I had him come and tag with Snoop last year for a show. The thing is he's just so far away, and that's the only reason. But Hunter, incredible. I don't see why if he can if he sticks to his guns and stays prominent, there's no reason that he shouldn't be signed within the next 5 years. I would say. Kelsey Reagan, really out of 3D Academy, Gangrel, I think also had a hand in training her. She comes and trains. I know with us from time. I've seen her around the school. Getting tips from Lethal and Chrissy Vane and different folks like that. So Kelsey's killing it. She's done some deathmatch stuff with No Peace. Took a crazy bump, a power bomb, I think, off a stage through a table or something. And girl's tough as nails. And but
Absolutely.
also behind the scenes, she's a pro. You know what I mean? She's easy to work with, and the girl brings it every time. Dax is Dax should be number one on this list, but I'm messing with you guys. I'm perfectly happy and content with being 36, but because I'm trying to just move on up, and being in the conversation is all that's important to me at this point. But of course, I'll be the best wrestler in the world, and Roman, I'm coming for that title one day. Okay, Winston Bentley,
I acknowledge you, my Dex DS.
Winston Bentley, the third. This guy, probably the best stick guy in the state. No offense to anybody. I'm not trying to offend anybody. This guy is so good, so witty on the microphone. But then also he's cleaned up a lot of his wrestling, and he doesn't and because of that, he's really he's current Tampa Bay Pro Tag Team Champion. And or one half of them, and he's really just killing it on the scene right now, and at least in this area specifically. I would like to probably see him branch out a little bit, and explore a little bit around the state, or maybe up in Georgia and Alabama area, but we'll see what happens there. Samuel C. I remember Sammy when he was just a little green guy that he's starting up out of Frankie Ray's school. He went and he gets trained. I know he trains with Seidel. Well, he was trained with Seidel. He trains with Silvio. I mean, the kid wants it. He's really got to put on some good weight. Gets this new look. I love using him over at Tampa Bay Pro. There's nothing more I can say about that. So Dante Casanova, this guy will be signed within 2 to 3 years to a major television company. And if he's not, he will be in Mexico or Japan or UK or one of those other promotions out there. Dante Casanova is a total package wrestler, and that's no offense to anyone else. He is just a total package. I had his very first match actually. And in SWA, the promoter's like, "Hey, got this kid. He graduated flatbacks. What do you think?" And
I've seen that match. Was it you that
yeah,
hyped him up to me, or I remember it being like,
yeah, I
like,
think
hey,
I
this
did.
kid's good.
I think
Okay.
I did hype him up.
Yeah, and we used him
Because he
several
hopped
times
in.
after that.
The promoter hit me up. My opponent, I guess, didn't have. And they're like, "Hey, can you work this kid?" I said, "Put him with me." He hopped in my car. We drove he drove from Orlando to my place, and I, was just talking with him and through all the stuff. And he's just a class act. He's in the Army, which is probably the only thing affects him is that schedule. It's hard to get him because of that Army schedule. But he's almost done with that, and I think we will see him really pop off here. And
No, I
he's
agree
so
with that.
much
Once
fun
that
to work.
schedule opens up, yeah.
And that match that I had with him was supposed to be it could have just been like a real basic squash match. And I was like, no man, I'm gonna see what this kid doing. We did a full feature match, and the kid kept up with everything. So he's been nothing more than a true pro. And I'm really happy to see him here. Che Guzman. I don't know if I've ever wrestled Che, but always I like his work. I like his grit, his street grit kind of deal that he has. He's a true fighter. I really like that. And Chico Adams, former Macklemore. Remember when he did Macklemore? He
Oh
did
yeah, he
that
had the
for me. He
scooter and
looked
everything. Yeah,
just like
I managed him while
Macklemore.
he was still kind of doing that. Yeah.
Now Chico Adams is more popular than Macklemore, just in general. But Chico, he's so much fun to work. He's I've always loved his Gaga, the way he as a heel, and it's just a lot of fun. He kind of, he's kind of reminiscent of like how Nova does Gaga this hour. But we're going through this. I think a lot of the people want to kind of hear this. Okay, number 30. 30 to 21. So Connor McKay. Okay. One half of Financially Stable, the tag team champion, Standby Pro. Justin Matthews, I believe that he is in the
The professional wrestlers, him and number 21,
professional
Giovanni.
wrestlers. Professional wrestlers. Then we have Chris Clow. Chris has been a staple in Fort Myers area. Chris is always fun to work. I worked him recently. And Nick Abrams, the Tank. Noah Vale at 26. Raven Skylark. Ryzen. Brian Brock. Remy. And I can't, my windows are messed up here. What is it?
Matthew's partner,
The other
Giovanni the
professional
Greatest, at
wrestler.
21. Yes.
Giovanni the Greatest. Okay. So let's go through this real quick. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, Connor and Winston been a really interesting tag team here. Connor's a young kid, great heart, and I look forward to seeing him grow each and every year. Yeah, another one that grows every time I see him. Matthews and Giovanni. Oh man, I wish they're two that I wish could get out more, because anytime it's whether it's us or Riot or anywhere. They're so good, man. They get it. They're smart, really great wrestlers here, man. They're ones that I've known for probably close to a decade as well. Took a bit of sabbatical, but they're back and they're doing great. Clow, who moved to Florida a few years back here, man. He's someone that you could really plug in anywhere on your show. He is so good. Nick's always been a great guy, man. He's another one that, like, I think just has a really good connection with the fans here, and anywhere he goes, and it's always been a pleasure to work with him. Noah Vale has been great to see kind of grow as well here, coming into his own. I know he was looking forward to seeing where he lands on the list here, and I'm happy to see that he landed pretty high, man. I love Noah. Looking forward to seeing him in the next few years. He's someone that I think will start to travel even more. He's someone that he's even popped up in Arizona like a year ago. Come back. Raven Scarlet had a lot of people vote for him here. I had several people DM me, so people were coming to bat for Raven. Ryzen's great. I think might hold the AEW Dark record. I feel like you see him a lot on there. I love Brian Brock. He used to be Leo Bryan. He's one of I always love a kind of a big guy that can absolutely go 100% here. You've seen him in MLW for a little while as well. Him and Michael Patrick were the Dirty Blondes. Now he's kind of back on his own with Patrick being out. Still in FIP doing great stuff. Remy had kind of a breakout year as well. I always think he's like 21. He's I believe 30 something, but he wrestles like he's 21. He's so good. And I mentioned before, Giovanni and Justin are two of my favorite either tag teams. They could be singles, but they're really settled on being a tag team, and they're one of the greats that I hope gets to get out even more and more.
Gotcha. Connor McKay. I've seen this. Another kid I recruited originally. He got trained by Lethal, and Mercury, and he's really broken out. Like him and Winston are like peanut butter and jelly. They bring two completely different things to the table, and I'm really proud of how far he's come. And he will continue to rise in that. Justin Matthews and Giovanni. I've only seen them on shows, but I was pretty impressed with their work. I actually thought they were Zach's trainees, but I think they just train over there.
They trained with Zach originally back in the day. Like they're technically been around for about a decade, and they took some time off. But no, they're from the same like training class.
Yeah, they move well. I very smooth in the ring. I was pretty impressed with them. Chris, like I said, he's a old school dude, easy to work, always entertaining, loves to get heat. A lot of fun. My boy here, the Tank, Nick Abrams. This guy, Nick should be signed within 5 years. If he can he stay healthy. He had a few injury, like little shoulder things and some injury stuff the past few years that have been pestering him. I was actually talking to him on the phone last night, and he's back to 100% from what it sounds like. So he's really going to be going hunt heavy. He's hopefully going to be traveling around a little bit more and getting his name out there. Noah Vale, Noah, again, one half of the Sexy Angels with Ezra Rowe. But he's really been breaking out in singles as of late. He brings that, I guess, new flamboyance with it. But he's actually a work rate wrestler. A lot of people don't realize this. I make fun of him a little bit because he would come to, like, we would have our training mock shows at this school, and he would always, like, when they run and they'll turn around the slide, they skid. One match he did. I'm teasing him right now, Noah. He did it 6 times. I'm like, bro, I'm just gonna call you Skid from now on. But he's always so much fun. He has so much enthusiasm. Such a high upside with this kid.
Connects with the fans very quickly.
Oh yeah, he definitely connects with the fans there, and I get, he just keep at it. No, I think what you're doing is working. Raven, a real class act. I've worked with the times I have interacted with him. He's been a lot of fun. Ryzen, I was talking to Ryzen actually. I think I had a booking at Atomic last year, and I didn't realize he actually was in. I think he was saying one of the development territories for WWE for quite a few years. Maybe it was Ohio Valley or Deep South, like way back in the day, or something along those. I might be remembering wrong, but he's been around the block here for a while. Then he went to the Colorado scene and kind of like did everything he could over there, and then I'm moving to Florida. And been killing it on AEW. I know he does a lot of Atomic work still. So, Leo Bryan, or Brian Brock, this guy could be one, okay, like on this list.
Yeah, I love Brian.
And the only reason he's probably not is because he has sort of weed backed on some of his work. He's kind of repackaged himself. He's still in FIP, killing in FIP in singles, kills it in Thunder. He would wrestle for me from time to time in Tampa Pro, but was killing it at MLW. They kind of we're trying to figure out, what path to take it with him in singles. He's no longer there now, but I think Brian, I could see getting signed fairly soon, and by somebody, because he just is so like if you wrestle him, you will understand why we love him on this list, why he could be number one. He has that TV experience. He could wrestle anybody. He could wrestle a broomstick, and just he's fantastic. Remy, this dude, Remy is incredible. I brought him up in Tampa. You know, we did a cross promotional match. Remy, man, this I'm jealous of how talented this kid is. He should be signed within the next 5 years, but to somebody, he reminds me of Lionel, Leo Rush, and
Mm.
not for the obvious reasons, but because just the speed in which he moves. And my best advice to Remy is work guys that are as good as you, or I mean good, but as athletic as you, and the ability to put matches together on a higher level, and there's no reason you should not be on TV soon. But that's my take on this batch. A hell of a batch right here, and I don't have the other one. So do you want to break it? And I would not release this before you release your top 20.
Yeah, okay. Well, 20 through 11 just dropped minutes before we talked, so that
Okay.
is out there, and I'll give you the top 10 as well, because this comes out after today.
Yes, it'll probably come out in 3 days. It's
Oh,
Saturday
okay, yeah.
now,
So
so it'll probably
perfect.
come out
So
Monday.
perfect. So yeah, we can go through everything here. Yeah, because 20 through 11 is out. 20, Ron Bass Jr. We got
Ronnie
coming in
Bass,
at 20.
RBJ.
Of course, second gen wrestler there. Of course, Ron Bass. Great big guy here. Another one who is well traveled. And I'm happy to see it. Number 19, a lot of votes for Nick Swift. You'll see him kind of another I think a version of Frankie Reyes guy. Number 18, it's the cheese, Dax.
Cheese.
The cheese.
I knew he would end up on there. Congrats, Cheese.
Yeah, a lot of love for the cheese here, man. He's another one here. Like, he's always that kind of personality, and then now he's getting a little bit of the entire puzzle here, man. And there's a lot of love for him. Number 17.
He's infectious.
Yes.
He's delicious
Yeah.
as well, apparently.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I think a big jump. Like if this was last year, I'm not sure how high it would have been, but it would, definitely a big number for him here. 17, we have Zach Monstar, who stepping away from the ring for a little while now, but still was killing it to the very last minute last year. Number 16, a bit of another guy who's been at it for quite a while, The Cure, Vertigo Rivera. You see in WXW.
I was wondering when he was going to pop up there. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, he definitely deserves to be here on the top 20. Number 15, I've only done a little bit with him, man, but I know there's a lot of love for him down in that CCW area. Cha-Cha Charlie coming in at 15. A lot of love for him. Number 14, he's been talking about my list a little bit here. DMC, Dante Marquise Carter. Originally part of that tag team with Mikey Spandex, and now is back on his own and still doing tremendous things. Number 13, people might be surprised he's actually this low because he does run his mouth a lot and it works. Kind of the complete package. Argus Artois comes in at number 13. Much love for August here. Super entertaining on Facebook, on the mic, in the ring. Another guy that kind of has a little bit of everything. Number 12, part of Culture Inc., but also becoming a great singles competitor too as well. Malik Bosidi, who I think is fantastic as well. I saw him again Platinum Pro at the fair, so I saw him like we did like 2 shows a day. So I think I saw him in like 6, 7, 8, 9 matches within like 2 weeks, and I just killed it every time. Number 11, we started off this batch with Ron Bass. We're going to end with the other former good old boy, First Class, Daniel Starling, who is another guy that I think has the right mind frame, is great, can wrestle anything. Again, if you could put him in a hardcore match, put him in a technical match. I have a lot of love for Daniel Starling as a competitor, so he comes in at number 11.
Yeah. I wasn't writing it down, so I don't have it in front of me, but I'm going to go off my memory here of the names that you said. Daniel Starling, Dan, I coin him the star of the South. Dan is like if Shawn Michaels had a baby with himself, it would be Dan Starling. Like Dan is so good. And I remember when he first came in, and like a lot of guys were like, oh man, I just found out. I've known about Dan since I was there for his first bumps. I helped recruit him. He came from like the Virginia area on his own, knowing nobody, and moved down here, got a job, whatever, and just because he wanted to get trained by Lethal, and
Nice. Wow.
he is he's special. He's very special in a good way. I don't see any reason. He's been working on his body, getting just in better shape. He does a lot of gym, like in gym selfies and stuff like that. He's been doing that. He's holding himself accountable, and that's really important. And his tech partner, RBJ, Ronnie is doing the same thing. Like he's in the gym. He's dropped down weight. He looks probably the best he's looked since he started, or since ever I've seen him. And he's making his daddy proud with that, and
Absolutely.
now they're both getting well traveled. Ron was on the road first, a lot more up in that Midwest area with Paradigm and Action and the Scenic City deal, and I know they're doing some tag stuff up there now. He wrestles for a buddy of mine, Matt Ryan, in the New York area, New York City area. Those guys are just getting out there and then getting their name out there, and the talent stands for itself. Like both those guys can do singles or tag. So
Absolutely, yeah.
Going down to Zach Monstar, I want to bring Zach up. I mean, Zach is like to me like what embodies that scene that he comes from. Like I don't know what you would call it, like that Slipknot, Marilyn Manson, like or like that scene, embodied as a wrestler that is 6'4", that can do backflips to the out of the ring or do these crazy dives, and the guy's put himself on the line, but just because he loves it, he wants to entertain the fans. And I hope I didn't see. I was there for his last match, or what they're saying is his last match. But I don't think it will be his last match. I think
I definitely get some Terry Funk vibes. I've been saying to Zach for a while he needs to take some time off because he's been hurt for a minute, man. And like you said, and he didn't want to stop. He didn't want to stop because he loves it, and the fans love him. And you know what I mean? Like we couldn't turn him heel. He could do the worst things, and we couldn't try to even turn him heel because the fans loved him too much.
No, he's so over. I mean, Malik. I mean, I think I hit his first match as well. So smooth. Oh, I think over at Go Wrestle in Daytona, I hit his first match there. I mean, he was just a class act dude. Super athletic. I mean, no reason I don't see this guy going to the next level. That's all I got for now. I think I can't remember everybody else on that list, but I think everyone on that list is well deserving. All right, top 10.
I think so. All right, top 10. And this is an exclusive for you. Nobody else has heard this yet. I haven't even made the graphic yet because I've been doing them one day at a time.
All right.
And if you want, I'll send it. It's in your.
I want to plug one thing because August Artois. I just remembered that he was listed on there. August doing fantastic. Okay, keep doing what you're doing. Yes. I'm not trying to be like, oh yeah, I'm the guy that's been around longer, because I know he doesn't like that anyway. But I truly do believe that August will probably be signed by a TV company within the next 2 years. And he's already done the Control the Narrative stuff and all that, busting his ass over there. I don't see him slowing down, guys. If you don't like him, too bad. He doesn't care. So moving on. Thanks. Sorry about that, Jordan.
Not at all. No. I'm always fine too, man. Like he doesn't need us to sing his praises, but you can't deny it either. So yeah, top 10 here to number 10. We mentioned Malik. We're gonna go with the other Culture Inc. half Eli Knight. Another one that has done so good in the last year. Like I said, another one that was a great tag team for the last little while here, but I don't know if they're going to focus on that or singles because they're both tremendous in both. Number 9, someone you know pretty decently, Leroy Shogun. We're starting off with 1/3 of the gifted here. Shogun's another one, man. That's what same thing with Daniel Starling, and I was saying Azrael. It has been so great seeing the kind of come up of Leroy Shogun again. Just every single time you're like, okay, he's got it a little bit more, and he's tremendous. Number 8, going now back to kind of a little bit of a Florida mainstay, Romeo Cavedo.
Oh yeah.
You've seen him Tampa Bay Pro. You've seen him probably in every company manageable
Yeah.
to a degree. So good for quite a while here. So I'm not surprised that he was on a lot of people's minds and lists. Number 7, I'm happy to say this. Another guy. I called his first match along with Hunter and Snoop. Stephen Frick, the Tampa Bay Pro champion recently. So yeah, that freaking guy, man, been a fan of his for quite a while here. So happy to see he ranked pretty high. And spoilers, I just said it. Snoop Strikes comes in at number 6 here. He's been killing for quite a while. Of course, you might know him as Coda Brazil in his MLW run. He got to be in that War Games match.
I know him as Clarence, but that's
Clarence. CJ Strikes. A couple different names we might have known him under, but currently Snoop Strikes, and then that rap verse, and I can't because it's too fast. But number 5, we're gonna go with another gifted individual. See what I did there? Wheezy T comes in at number 5 here. So much love for the gifted. Number 4, again, here's all the whole list. The rest of the list of people you should know and love. The technical alchemist David Mercury. Getting a lot of love here at number 4, and rightfully so here. Always entertaining, and I've loved his new gimmick these last few years. Number 3, we're finally going to round out the gifted trio. Logan Cruz coming in at number 3 here. Hands of Stone, whatever that gimmick is. He's tremendous here.
Madman.
He's a madman on all levels. And number 2, Eddie Torres here.
He came at 2. Oh man,
at number 2. That speaks for itself. Much love for Eddie here. He's gotten in some great shape these last couple of years. Popped up Sean Spears on AEW Dark. And number 1, do you have any guesses, Dax? Is there anyone that has glaringly been left off?
Someone that's been left off the 100. I'll talk about that later. I'm trying to think who would come in at 1.
Yeah, who would come in at 1? Who
is it? A girl? Is it a female?
Girl. No, unfortunately, the highest girl might have been. Was it Kelsey? I'm not sure, but yeah.
Yeah, we definitely got to do at least a top 50 or top 25 for Florida, or you do.
We definitely could. Could.
I don't know. I don't want to guess.
That's fine. That's respectable for not guessing, because you can see the wrong thing. No, but number 1 is somebody you do know, and it's even somebody you might have seen in MLW. He got the votes. Bud Heavy.
Number 1.
Heavy comes in at
Tampa Bay Pro Wrestling heavyweight champion. Bud Heavy.
Took it off the Frickster recently. Yeah, absolutely.
Bud number 1.
He got the votes, man. Like I said, this year I strictly went by the votes. He had the peer respect. He had the fan votes. He's done MLW. He's a heavyweight champion in your company. He's had the tag titles in Real Pro. He had a good year, and the votes were there, and that's what I went by this year.
Wow, Bud Heavy, congrats, buddy, and being number 1 in Florida. I figured he was top 10. I've been bashing the head too many times. I can't remember everybody's name. I know so many guys, but he is the champion, Tampa Bay Pro, and that's who I was kind of thinking. But yeah, he brings everything to the table. You know what I mean? He's infectious. He has an it factor that you can't teach. He's a leader in the locker room in the back. He has TV experience now. There's sky's the limit for Bud. Okay, that's all I can say about that. Paying respect to some of the other guys here. Eddie Torres. I thought Eddie was first. Honestly, I thought Eddie was going to be number 1. And probably the only reason I can knock Eddie is he doesn't take as many bookings because he just is more picky on his bookings, which is completely understandable.
Of course.
but whenever he wrestles, he steals the show. So unless you're in the match with him, you're kind of like, yeah, Eddie's on the show. But you're always happy because he brings everybody up and he provides constructive criticism. Some people might not like that, but I like that because it makes each other in the show better, the product better. David Mercury. Dave was one of my road coaches when I first broke onto the scene. I remember Dave. He's like, Dax, have like some basic gear, because you never know when you'll get extra work. And then he completely changed his tune and became the mad scientist character, the alchemist deal. And like he's been killing it on this scene. And Dave is so good in the ring. I mean, he knows he can chain wrestle with best in the world. Like just imagine you see David Mercury with Daniel Bryan or something like that. Like I can only imagine. Both the Gifted guys, the original Gifted, Wheezy and Logan. I mean, so talented, both of them. They just were on AEW wrestling.
Yeah,
I can't remember that tag. Outrunners,
Turbo, the Outrunners. There you go. Yeah,
the Outrunners. And I'll be honest with you, no offense to those Outrunner guys, I like their look and all, but I think the Gifted looked incredible in that match. Like they looked really good in that match, and they made those guys look even better. So, people know what they bring to the table. They've been killing on the scene for a while now. I'm sorry, what was the top like 10, 9, 8? 7?
Yeah, it's in your DMs if you want to look at it. But Eli
Okay.
Knight, Leroy Shogun, and Romeo Cavado are 10-9-8.
Okay, so Eli Knight will be signed. I'm making a statement right here, putting this in the universe. Will be signed within 2.5 years to probably NXT or AEW. I'm just putting me on the record. The kid is so good. He's humble as hell. He's young. He reminds me of Shane Strickland, like a younger Shane Strickland, and he also received training from Shane Strickland when Shane was over at 2.0 for a bit, helping training with Sammy and all them. So like man, that guy has some intangibles. He's super athletic. He's been wrestling since he was 15. And Leroy Shogun. Man, I'm so jealous of Ellis because he is so good. He's so talented. I was like he was my training partner, and it's like I feel for so long, and I've worked with him so many times, and he's so athletic for his size. And you're like, how is this guy this athletic? And he's legit. He could kick everybody's ass in every locker room in the world, probably. The guy's like trained in like 4 martial arts, could rip the head off of pretty much everybody in the locker room. He's a legit badass. Eddie Torres, another legit badass. Like he could kill anybody in the locker room. And I have so much respect for Eddie. Like I still got a better spin heel kick than you, Eddie. So screw up. I don't do it very often. So, but yeah, I mean, all that top 10. What was the Shogun guys that I think everybody on that list could be signed. I think maybe age is a factor now a little bit more with a lot of these companies, specifically in NXT. But I think age is probably the only thing holding any of those guys back from getting a long-term contract, and that would be the only reason. It's skill, look, all that kind of stuff. They all bring all that stuff to the table.
Every other box is checked for sure.
Yeah, I mean, one person I thought that would be on the list, but he doesn't really wrestle in Florida, would be Robert Martyr. I think.
Yeah, I know a lot of people shouted him out as a potential. I know he had some votes for sure, and I have a longer list somewhere of everyone else that was potential. But I think, like you said, I think it just boils down to he wasn't on the mind necessarily of Florida. For enough people. I mean, the dude's about to fight Suzuki.
I'm about to say I saw Rob on Thursday. He was at the school training. Eli was there too. And like, he was talking to me, and that kid, he's just a student of the game. Like, he's just like the best student you could ever imagine of a student of the game. Like, he studies everything. Like, I'll be in the back and he's watching Harley race matches that no one had heard of. You know what I mean? Like, or just some house show thing he found on Daily Motion or something. Like, the kid just gets it. I've known him since he was 15 years old. He's transforming his body. He's gotten older and more mature. He's training. He's lifting weights. He's doing all those kind of things. Another guy on the list, or not on the top 100, that I think probably should be on top 100 would be Boone the Gator King. I think Boone brings a lot to the table. Johnny Zeke or CJ Krauser, another one I think probably should be
both did have votes, for the record. Both did have votes. Do you want to let
well,
I actually won't do that personally.
Yeah, I mean, it's polling, but I'm just bringing up a few guys that that I can think of. Logan Wrights in Tampa Pro. I'm plugging my ideas, but I think Logan Wrights, if he traveled more, he would be on more lists. And I think that's the thing. Like, people need a takeaway. If you don't like where you are on the list, then start traveling around, and then you get more popular. If you're wrestling
that definitely did play a factor, because let's say you're doing really good in multiple companies, multiple different people are voting for you now. So at least when it comes to a list like this, if you happen to be a real pro and a Tampa Bay guy, and maybe also a New Heights guy, and maybe also you know what I mean, it helps.
Definitely. I think lessons learned, try to get, and I think you did do due diligence here and try to reach around to a lot of the different people. And then also there's other promotions that don't have online presence, aren't on Fight TV, or they're not on YouTube, or they're not on anything online, so people don't see that. And since people don't see that, they might not get additional votes. So, hey, this is an entertainment business. If you want to get noticed, you better get your butt out there. And I think that's the biggest takeaway. I think on the girls, on the ladies' side, I think Avery Bro, she's killing it. A lot of AEW Dark, NXT work. She was a Sierra as well. Devlin Macabre. I think just to mention a few of them, like and but again, like, it's hard to poll, like you said, like when you're doing the poll, were they thinking about the ladies, or were they just thinking about guys? Like, it's hard to tell that a lot of times. Persia Pierce definitely should be within the top 100. So here's the thing. The takeaway I could tell everybody is, if you get mentioned, you're getting a little recognition. Okay, that's wonderful. Hey, wrestling is a sort of a popularity contest in some way. It's like a beauty pageant or something in a certain sense, and it's opinionated. It's subjective. If you think you're the baddest dude on the block, then go into MMA and beat somebody's ass and become the world champion. That's what Brock Lesnar did, and no one can take that away from the guy. The guy beat, what was it, Shane Carwin. I mean, that guy could one of the scariest dudes in the world. Randy Couture, like, come on, dude. Like, so, like, here's the thing. It's more like an Academy Award in a sense, or like an achievement in that sense. So I think if you're even mentioned in the conversation, that's incredible, because it's coming from peers, it's coming from fans, and if you want to move up, you know what you got to do. And if you're not worried about Florida and you're focused on like Martyr, for example, Martyr top 10 dude for sure. And but the thing is, he's not focused on Florida. He's focused on getting signed to New Japan or WWE or things like that, and that's perfectly okay. The guy's wrestling Suzuki,
Yeah,
so,
man, props.
I mean, what can you say? Like, but anyway, just to wrap this up, I know we've been blabbing on here. I might have to make this a two-parter here. But thank you so much, Jordan. And
of course.
And more important, thank you for making the Florida Top 100 list. Somebody had to do it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, just to kind of wrap it up on my end, man. Yeah, like I said, this was a love letter to Florida to show the talent here, that there's 100 tremendous talent. Easy. And like I said, this could have been a 125, a 150. I could have kept going. You mentioned several names that are on the list. I'm looking at a doc in front of me. I have another 2 pages of names that had votes, and there's names that didn't get votes that also could have deserved to be on here. So there's so much talent here, man. If you're on the list, if you're not on the list, don't take it to heart. Keep killing it. If you're on the list, though, also take that to heart, because that shows that you're doing something right. That shows that you had peers behind you, you had fans behind you here. And now that people kind of know what I'm doing, I think next year will be even better and bigger, because now I will reach out to way more people here. I don't mind making it a committee too, if other people, maybe a couple other people want to join me.
Yep.
Get a lot more votes here. You know what I mean? And we'll get more institution. If you think a guy was low, well, next year let's get them higher. You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
Thanks for indulging in this. Hopefully the good things come out of this. Nothing but good, to show how many talented people are in Florida here, and just kind of give it a bit of a rub.
I think that this has a lot of credence behind it, and I think that this will make the Florida professional wrestling independent scene better because of that. So thank you very much, Jordan Pierce Owens, the former commish himself. And that's a wrap up for the Daxcast.
Till I come back and get my commissionary back. I'm coming back.
Oh, we'll have to see. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great one.
First
Jordan. Job. Get Dax out.
Hey, for all your merchandise and collectible needs, check out ShopTampaBayProWrestling.com. We've got merch and more from your favorite superstars. We'll see you there.